Hey, what's up everyone? This is Noble, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my Mathmech deck profile. So with the release of Dual Overload in this past Friday, we've gotten access to a lot of really great, much needed reprints. Definitely one of those being Silent Mining. Definitely absolutely helping out with the consistency of this deck a ton. If you haven't had a chance to play the Mathmechs before, they're a pretty budget deck overall, who have a really big boss monster who's unaffected by card effects while in the extra monster zone. Does double damage, has a floating effect to where you can search out any Mathmech card from your deck to your hand. So it's a lot of fun to play, and let's just get right on into it, guys. And to start off with, we are going to be playing Mathmech Sigma, 3 of them. Sigma is really cool. He basically kind of starts off and fires off our combos for us. What he does is if you control no monsters in the extra monster zone while this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Cybers monsters. Totally fine. That's all we're going to summon. You can only use this effect of Mathmech Sigma once per turn, and if this card you control is used as a synchro material for a Mathmech monster, you can treat it as a non-tuner. So he's really good. He's just really versatile, being able to get him out from the hand of the graveyard. Really easy way to start off into our final Sigma. Alright, for the next 3, we play 3 Mathmech Nabla. I'm not 100% sure if I'm saying that right. Probably not, but I say Nabla. But what he does is you can tribute 1 the Cybers monster, special summon 1 Mathmech monster from your deck. So, just right there, being able to special summon anything out of the deck, that's a really powerful effect. Being able, being able to get out any Mathmech monster is really strong. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Cybers monster you control in the extra monster zone, and it can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase this turn. So just, being able to use him as synchro material, and then being able to give our synchro boss monsters 2 attacks for that turn, that's really strong. Next up, we play Mathmech Edition. I think Edition is more expensive. It's been a while since I've checked, but last time I checked, he was more expensive than the other main deck Mathmech monsters. But what he does is him and Subtraction have like the exact same way to get out. They just have different things when they hit the board. So you can target 1 face-up monster on the field. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Cybers monsters. Also special summon this card from your hand, but it cannot attack this turn, which is fine. And if you do, the targeted monster gains 1,000 attack to the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Mathmech Edition once per turn. So just being able to special summon out a body from your hand, and then your targeted monster gains 1,000 attack. That's really, really good. Giving Geo Mathmech Final Sigma up to 4,000 to get another body is a really good combo. Or whatever else you have out, but I usually have out Final Sigma. Next up, we play 3 Mathmech Subtraction. Like I said, it's the exact same way to get out. Subtraction, except when he hits the board and you target a monster, the targeted monster loses 1,000. So that's really good as well. And next up, we play 3 Mathmech Multiplication. Multiplication is probably one of my favorite ones. I really, really like this card. What he does is you can target 1 level 4 Cybers monster you control. Its level becomes 8 until the end of this turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Cybers monster you control in the extra monster zone. Its attack becomes doubled until the end of this turn. So he's really good if you have him in Mathmech Sigma in your hand. Just summoning out Mathmech Sigma, special summoning him out, and then normal summoning Multiplication. Use a Multiplications effect to either make him or Sigma level 8, then synchron right into Final Sigma. And then Final Sigma attack becomes double because of this card for the rest of the turn. That's a really great combo, and your opponent's going to have a really tough time getting over that. For the last 3 Mathmech monsters, we do play 3 Mathmech Division. Division is a cool card. What he does is you contribute 1 Cybers monster you control in the extra monster zone, and special summon up to 1 level 4 Cybers monster each from your hand and your graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field. Its attack becomes halved to the end of this turn. So his floating effect of being able to have a monster attack is really good. And also using him to be able to bring out 2 bodies from your hand and graveyard is a really cool effect. For a few non-Mathmech monsters, play 3 Balancer Lord. Now, you don't have to play Balancer Lord at 3. I've seen some people playing with 2. I like him at 3 because what he does is once per turn, you can pay 1,000 life points, and then during your main phase this turn, you can normal summon 1 Cybers monster in addition to your normal summon / set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. If this card is banished, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower monster from your hand. You can only use this effect of Balancer Lord per turn. So he's kind of like a walking double summon. You pay 1,000 life points to get another normal summon. So that's really good, and then his banish effect is cool as well. I play 1 Rom Claudia. Now, you don't have to play this. I like it if you want to get rid of this and play a 3rd Ash, because I personally only play 2 in this deck. Totally go for it. I understand that. But I like Ron Claudia because what he does is when this card is normal summoned, you can target one Cyrus monster in your graveyard, except another copy of this card, and add it to your hand. And then if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Cyrus monster from your deck. Last two, like I just said, 2 Ash. Absolutely, if you want to place a 3, go for it. Completely player preference. I understand. I like it at 2, but if you just want to stop your opponent, you don't want your opponents getting their board out while we're trying to get out our Final Sigma, or if you're trying to get out Magma or something else. So moving on to the spells, guys. We do play quite a few spells. We play 3 Signet Mining. Thank goodness we can finally play 3 Signet Mining now. I was really lucky. I pulled like 6 of them. It was pretty crazy, and I had already had one of the other ones I traded for. But this card is really available to us now, guys. I think these are at $10 a piece. They were last time I checked. Just absolutely blows the consistency of this deck up a ton. What it does is you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard. You can add one level 4 or lower Cyrus monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate 1 Signet Mining per turn, so it does have a hard one per turn, but it's totally fine. If we have all the pieces for getting out Final Sigma except 1, but we have a Signet Mining, then we basically have all the pieces. Absolutely helps out with the consistency of this deck, and I definitely recommend playing it at 3. I do play 3 Mathmech Billion Blade Nayuta. Now, I have seen people play this at 2 or even 1, but I want to see this card as much as I can and as fast as I can, so I like playing it at 3. But this is a really awesome card, especially to combo out with Final Sigma, because what it does is you equip only to a Cyrus monster. If the equipped monster battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, you can send 1 Mathmech monster from your deck to the graveyard. The equipped monster gains attack equal to the sent monster's attack until the end of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. So just being able to Foolish Burial our monsters from the graveyard during the damage step, that's really crazy. And then our guy getting a attack boost, and then when if Nabla goes to the graveyard, then he can make 2 attacks that turn. Their effects just firing off when they go to the graveyard as well, and affecting our opponent's board is really, really great combo. Like I said, if you don't want to play this at 3, you don't have to, but I like it. It also has a floating effect to where you can target 1 Mathmech card in your graveyard, except Mathmech Billion Blade Nayuta. If this card is sent from the spell and trap card zone in the graveyard, and add it to your hand. You can only use each effect of Mathmech Billion Blade Nayuta once per turn. Then I play 2 Mathmech Equation. Same thing with Nayuta. I've seen this played at 1, 2, or 3. I've seen all 3 of them. But I like it at 2. I feel like it's a little bit bricky with 3, but 2 is a pretty good number. Because I do want more than 1. Because you can target 1 Mathmech monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and if you do, it gains a valid attack to the end of this turn. You only activate 1 Mathmech Equation per turn, so it's a monster reborn for the Mathmech deck, except it's even better because it gives our guys an attack boost. I do play one-time passcode and 1 Signet Backdoor. If you want to get rid of Signet Backdoor, absolutely go for it. And if you want to play a 3rd Call by the Grave in its place, I completely understand. But Signet Backdoor is kind of like a bailout card, and I like it because what it does is you can target 1 Cyrus monster you control, banish it, and if you do, add 1 Cyrus monster from your deck to your hand, whose attack is lower than the monster's original attack. And then, during your next standby phase, return that monster banished by this effect to the field, and then it can attack directly that turn. So this card is really good all around. It's pretty versatile with being able to search and then bring that monster back, and then it being able to attack. That's really cool. And then one-time passcode is just kind of like a backup card because we can special summon 1 security token, Cyberburst level 4, light, attack and defense 2000 in defense position. So just being able to bring this out on the field as a token and then use it as our synchro place is really good. And then 2 Call by the Grave. If you don't, if you want to play 3, I understand if you want to get rid of one of these 2 cards, totally go for it. But we just don't want to. No deck wants to get hand trapped, and this deck is absolutely no exception to that. We're trying to get out our Final Sigma, we're trying to get out our place, and we don't want to have to deal with our opponent's hand traps. For the last 4, I play 2 Mathmech Superfactorial and 2 Mathmech Induction. I like Induction because what it does is it gives our guys an attack boost to where all Cyrus monsters you control gain 500 attack. So that's really cool, but it also has a secondary effect to where if you control a Mathmech monster, you can send this face-up card to the field to the graveyard, then target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. So just spot removal, and it doesn't have to be a monster or a face-up card, just a card. That's really good. And then Mathmech Superfactorial is a real bailout card. This is a really good late-game situation card to where you can target up to 3 Mathmech monsters in your graveyard with different names and activate one of these effects. You special summon them, but their effects are negated. Then immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon one Mathmech synchro monster using only those monsters, and then shuffle the materials into the deck instead of sending them to the graveyard. Or you can special summon them, but their effects are negated. Then immediately after this effect resolves, XYZ summon one Mathmech XYZ monster using only those monsters. You know, only activate one Mathmech Super Factorial per turn. I really thought I unplugged those phones. I guess I did not. But this is a really good card, just, you know, late game situation. If your opponent got rid of your board, but you have resources in the graveyard, being able to set and then activate this effect during your opponent's turn is really good. Then you're back in the game. Take a hint, no one's answering. Whew. All right, that's it from the main deck. Let's move on into the extra deck, ignoring that phone. Mathmech Final Sigma. Now, this is my favorite one for sure out of the boss monsters in this deck, because what this card does is he's a level 12 synchro, and he's just a real powerhouse, guys. He's unaffected by card effects except Mathmech cards while is in the extra monster zone. If this card is in the extra monster zone, battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. If this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can add one Mathmech card from your deck to your hand. So just a 3,000 attack beat stick, which, you know, gets even higher with Bale and Blade Nayuta. He does get higher than that. That's unaffected by our card effects except our own Mathmech cards, and does double damage. And he's has a floating effect where he searches any Mathmech card when he leaves the field. That is really, really good. I've seen games to where, you know, Final Sigma equipped with Billion Blade Nayuta is the only two cards on the field, on your board, and then the opponent's board is just filled with stuff. But they're scrambling trying to get rid of this one card. I've seen this card single-handedly win games. It is really, really a ton of fun. And he's easy to get out as well. And when you get him out, you feel really relieved. Like, all right, you know, we're good now. For the other synchro one, don't get this one out as much. But Mathmech Magma, he's actually got a really good effect. What he does is when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, when this card destroys a monster by battle, you can target up to 2 cards your opponent controls and destroy them. That is really good. 2-spot removal is fantastic. And if this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card in its owner's possession destroys an opponent's card, or if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, I'm struggling, guys, you can add one Mathmech spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. So he's not quite as good a floating effect as Final Sigma, but he is really good because, you know, being able to get any spell or trap is really good as well. For the last two, I do play 2 Prime Mathmech. I don't know how to say it. Laplacian. Disclaimer, I don't play the other XYZ monster from the Mathmechs. Don't get me wrong, he's really good. He is a good card. I just don't think he's worth the price tag personally, especially with Final Sigma. I'm always going for Final Sigma, and if I have Final Sigma on the field, I don't feel like I need the other one. But this card is really good because he's good if your opponent has something on the field that can't be targeted. Because what he can do is he requires 3 level 4 monsters, and if a Mathmech card or cards you control be destroyed by a card effect, you can detach 1 material from this card instead. If this card is XYZ summoned, you can detach up to 3 materials from it, then choose that many effects. You cannot choose the same effect twice, and you resolve them in the listed order, skipping any that were not chosen. Send 1 random card from your opponent's hand in the graveyard. Send 1 monster your opponent controls to the graveyard. And send 1 spell and trap card your opponent controls to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Prime Mathmech Laplacian, I don't know how to say it, once per turn. So he's really good because, you know, you can send several resources to the graveyard your opponent controls. And being able to send a monster your opponent controls to the graveyard is good because he doesn't target, he doesn't destroy, he doesn't even banish. He just sends to the graveyard, and that gets over a lot of really good protection effects. Most of them, actually. That's really it for the deck profile, guys. Like I said, I don't run the other Exceed monster. Definitely not shaming you if you want to go for it. I just personally, I don't feel like I need it. But he is definitely a good card to add to the deck. With Silent Mining being available to us more easily, this deck can get really competitive really fast. Definitely recommend you picking this deck up if you haven't had a chance to yet. That was it for the deck profile, guys. Hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. If there's a particular deck profile or something you think I should do, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. All right, until the next one.